Now, obviously, based on the first conversation, neither of them had immediate work that they were like, yeah, hey, let's collaborate. I can start writing you checks tomorrow. Hi, I'm Gene. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I am doing in my entrepreneurship journey, some updates, some new information that came to me in the past couple of days, and a bit about how I am attempting to make connections and what those connections have led me to be thinking about this week. So, where am I? My business is active. It is licensed in my city and state, and I have a client that I have signed to create a simulation of their emergency department, a discrete event simulation, with the goal being that once we have a validated simulation, we can test physician scheduling and other various strategies for improvement to align staffing with demand in order to optimize throughput in the ED. That's what I do. I'm good at it, and it's just a lot of fun. I love it. So I'm very excited about that work, but that's one client, and one client is not enough to make a living off of. So I am in the process of trying to find more clients, and that means a lot of networking and engaging with people that have connections in the field. So, in the past couple of weeks, I've had a couple of really interesting conversations with people that I used to work with, executives in the healthcare industry who have gone on their own entrepreneurship journeys. One was the former director of performance improvement, where I was senior director, I think. Another was a vice president, senior director in the ambulatory surgical space and the inpatient surgical space. And they are each now working at their own companies and have been reasonably successful doing so. No surprise, they're great people. So I wanted to reach out to them for two reasons. One is I want to learn how they did it, right? I want to learn from people that are successful in the field. And so I had conversations about how they have gone about finding their own clients and delivering their own work product and how they price themselves. The other thing is, of course, these are people in the improvement space and in the team building space. And I'm a big believer in both of those things. And because I am also in the improvement space, I am interested in their opportunities to collaborate, right? If they have systems that they're working on in their improvement space, I can build an evidence base and a simulation that supports their case and that helps drive change management. And so opportunities for collaboration might exist. They can leverage my data driven simulation engineering skills. I can leverage their connections and performance improvement implementation skills, and it might work for us to work together. Now, obviously, based on the first conversation, neither of them had immediate work that they were like, yeah, hey, let's collaborate. I can start writing you checks tomorrow. And I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't asking for that. But the more of these conversations I have with people, the more likely it is that somebody says, I know somebody who needs you, might be something that they're working on, might not be something that they're working on, but it could be really valuable for both of us. And more importantly, it could really make a difference in the healthcare system that would be contracting with us. And, my long game, long term, is about helping hospitals function better so that they can provide better public health care. And that conversation I had about team building is one of the most interesting and important conversations I think I've had in the last few months because team building and team management, employee management is a really critical secret cost in healthcare that is very difficult to compute and calculate, but really, really impacts the bottom line of hospitals and generally speaking, businesses in any field. And the reason for that is, as they say, people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses or they quit environments. If your business doesn't have a functional, comfortable culture that people feel confident that they can deliver well in, and teams that are properly aligned to the system goals, workloads that are manageable, people will quit. And high turnover rates are incredibly costly because there are a lot of effectively uncomputable costs associated with employee turnover. One is the work that isn't done while an employee is not there, that other people then have to fill in for, which drags them down. The other is work that is not done after you hire a new employee and they're being trained and coming up to speed, which typically takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Additionally, there are costs associated with recruitment, interviewing. Interviews, especially for high skilled positions or high ranking positions, can take months. They can require a lot of highly paid people in the room. When you have an interview panel with 4 or 5 people that are each being paid $100 an hour, and you have 5 or 6 candidates, and each candidate has to go through 3 or 4 panels of interviews, the result is that you are spending tens of thousands of dollars to hire that employee just on the interview process. Then there are the meetings associated with discussing the interviews, ranking the candidates, the work that has to be done in the onboarding process. And all of that comes down to the average employee replacement cost is about half of what you would pay that employee for the year. That's incredibly expensive. If you have a team of 10 or 12 people and you have to replace 1 or 2 of them every year, it's the same as having a team of 12 or 14 people. It's extremely expensive. So, having teams that function well and that have good jobs that they care about and that they are committed to is incredibly, incredibly lucrative to your organization. That stability saves an enormous amount of money. And if you have an environment that is stable, that people want to stay in, that people have career ladders in, then you don't need to hire as large of an HR staff because you have much less in the way of HR challenges associated with recruitment and retention. And if you have a good culture, of course, you have fewer HR challenges with employee disputes, toxic workplace, etc. So I'm I'm loving that team building space, and I'm working on ways that I can calculate the ROI of improved employee retention because it's it's so valuable, and it would be a really good addition to my business to be able to provide that. So that's what I've been thinking about this week. That's where I am. I also may be receiving a job offer from a company to be an expert simulationist. That would be an interesting opportunity. I like that work. It's what I do. I'm not 100% certain I want a full-time job instead of this business. I've invested a lot in this in the last couple of months, and I'm excited about moving forward with it. But it would be hard to turn down a lucrative and exciting position. So I'm just going to have to see what they come through with and what they offer. And if it's great, then I might take it. We will see. So that's where I am. That's what I've been thinking about. I hope you're really well. YouTube thinks you're going to like this video right here. And I really hope that you're having a great day and that you like and subscribe. Thanks a lot. Bye.